Coming up on Mountain News this morning, police are getting ready for medical marijuana in Kentucky as they begin to be more vigilant for impaired drivers. And Knott County businesses are looking for more financial gains as more apply for liquor licenses.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Madison Carmouche. We're coming up on 6:30 this Labor Day morning. And Tim, I didn't forget my watch today, but I think my watch is taking holiday. It's literally not working. But let's send it over to you for a look at our forecast this morning.
What are you trying to say? A little bit off time? You know what? It's a holiday. It's a-okay. 63, some low clouds and fog off in the distance. We can still see some lingering clouds as well across eastern portions of southern Kentucky as a cold front continues to depart the region. It's 69 at Harlan, 64 at Jacksboro, 63 at Clintwood, to 62 now at Irvin, and 66 your way at Moorhead. The satellite radar composite showing those clouds continuing to scoot out of here. There's a few lingering clouds that'll continue to meander in from the north and west. Otherwise, the trend is for high pressure to build in. We've got a spectacular afternoon on tap, up to 78 in Hazard. How long can this last once it does fully arrive? We'll let you know. Your ARH First Alert 7-day forecast as we head through this half hour. Madison.
All right, Tim, thank you. Former Bell County Sheriff Millard Harold Harbin died on Friday. According to the Bell County Sheriff's Office, Harbin was elected in 1994 and served for 9 years. There will be a showing tomorrow from 3 in the afternoon to 5 in the evening at the Kaywood Funeral Home Chapel in Middlesboro. The funeral will follow directly after. A Middlesboro man is charged with murder. Police arrested 45-year-old Tyrone Wilson Friday morning on Westchester Avenue. Police say Wilson stabbed another man, Ronnie Mink. Mink was transported to Middlesboro ARH, where he later died. Wilson is being held at the Bell County Detention Center. Police say 2 men intentionally drove through a flock of geese in Harlan. Now they have both been charged with take of migratory birds and cruelty to animals. According to Kentucky Fish and Wildlife Law Enforcement, district wardens were contacted by city police about injured geese in the Village Center Mall parking lot. One of the geese died at the scene and the other injured goose was euthanized after being taken to a rehabilitation center in Hazard. The names of the 2 men have not been released. Police say a suspect has been arrested in Claiborne County after a woman was shot and stabbed in Harrogate on Wednesday. Officials say the suspect, Joanna Lynn Miracle, was taken into custody just Friday afternoon at a home near Sunset Acres and Red Hill Road. Previously, Miracle was considered armed and dangerous. The Claiborne County Sheriff's Office Criminal Investigations Division is continuing to investigate. A Laurel County woman is behind bars after police say she made several threatening phone calls to another woman. Police records say Shania Wagers called another woman several times for more than a week and threatened to hurt her with firearms. Wagers was charged with third-degree terroristic threatening and harassing communications. She is being held at the Laurel County Correctional Center. A federal jury convicted a Salyersville man on drug charges. Daniel Jackson of Salyersville was convicted on charges of carrying 50 or more grams of meth and carrying fentanyl with the intent to distribute. Jackson was arrested back in February and indicted in May. He is scheduled to appear for sentencing on December 9th. Officials say he faces a maximum of 40 years in prison. Jackson is being held at the Pike County Detention Center. A Pulaski County man is facing drug charges. Deputies pulled over a car they say had an expired license plate. While searching through the car, police say they found meth and drug paraphernalia belonging to the passenger, who was identified as Kenny Braden of Science Hill. Braden faces charges of drug trafficking and possessing drug paraphernalia. He is being held at the Pulaski County Detention Center. Law enforcement leaders from across Kentucky are preparing for a potential increase in people driving under the influence. They're concerned medical cannabis will make those numbers higher. Officials say in 2022, nearly 750 people were killed in crashes on Kentucky's roadways. Data from the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet Office shows that same year, a third of those died in crashes where drivers were under the influence of drugs. With the passage of Senate Bill 47, medical cannabis will be legal in Kentucky next year. Since its passing, some law enforcement officers say they've been introducing new training to help officers easily spot impaired driving.
By sending our deputies to ARAD training, they now will have the skills available to them on the side of the road to determine that probable cause and find out if someone needs to be taken into custody so that we can get a laboratory draw and proceed with a DUI arrest.
The state's medical marijuana program does not officially launch until the new year. It's been about 3 months since Knott County became a wet county after the May election. Pig and a Poke, located in Hindman, and other restaurants are interested in serving alcohol, so they have started the process to get their liquor into businesses. Jordan Owens lives in Knott County and says he and a group of others worked hard to see this change take place.
All these emotions, I was nearly in tears, was so excited that it finally happened. There's a lot of hard work. Like I said, a lot of people put in a lot of hard work. We're all busy. We're all working. We all have family and kids. And when you put this much time and energy into something, it feels really, really good to see that it's successful.
Owen says he hopes there will be more businesses coming to Knott County. He says becoming a wet county was the first step, but he hopes for more positive changes in the future. And as we finally arrive to Labor Day, Kentucky Fish and Wildlife has some tips on how you can stay safe on and in the water. First, Conservation Officer Cody Fox says to always wear a life jacket on the boat, even if you may not want to, but warns that not all life jackets are the same and you should only use Coast Guard approved life jackets. Second, he says not to drink alcohol on a boat because it's against state law here in Kentucky.
You're not allowed to drink out on the water. I know just about everybody you see out there is drinking, and we try to make that known that it is a public place. But if you are going to do that, have somebody else drive. Safety is our number one thing, and being under the influence of alcohol or drugs or whatever, and then you mix that with a boat is just really not a good idea.
He says if you are swimming in the lakes, have some sort of flotation device with you. Keep an eye on the weather and do not dive in shallow waters.
6:36 on Labor Day morning. Got some low clouds and fog off to the south and southeast. The clouds associated with the cold front, a little slow to depart as well. Don't worry, they will. 63. Satellite radar composite showing, yes, they have completely cleared, but obviously we can see on the web camera now with civil twilight, they're lagging a little bit behind and not being completely picked up on the imagery. So that being said, don't worry, we've still got a great day on tap. It will get rid of the low clouds and fog on top of the lingering clouds that are slow to depart as well. By the lunch hour and through the rest of the day, spectacular for sure. Up to 78 in Hazard, and everybody will get into a great feel to the air as well. More about your ARH First Alert 7-day forecast in moments. Madison?
Thanks, Tim. Looks like we hit the weather lottery. Now let's check in today's lottery jackpot. Tomorrow night's Mega Millions jackpot is $681 million, and tonight's Powerball jackpot is $80 million. Folks gathered in the Van Leer community of Johnson County to unveil a new historical marker. WYMT's RJ Johnson was there for the unveiling and shares the community's significance.
A new historical marker in the Van Leer community of Johnson County is honoring part of the long history of coal mining in eastern Kentucky.
This new state historical marker joins over 2,400 other markers across the Commonwealth. And today we were dedicating this marker in honor of the community of Van Leer and the Webb family that played such an instrumental role in it as well.
Johnson County Judge Executive Mark McKenzie says with the marker being in front of the Van Leer Historical Society's Coal Miner Museum, it will serve as a good entry into the community.
Well, the museum is obviously a good first stop into the Van Leer community, and if you haven't made the trip here to take a look at this 3-level museum, you need to do so. I mean, it is unbelievable, the story that it tells about the history of this community, and especially with the scaled version of the town on one of the floors in this museum, it really puts it in perspective.
The marker is special for Patsy Lynn. She is country music icon Loretta Lynn's daughter.
Van Leer, as for our family, you know, it's home. And my mom and dad both came from here. Their parents worked in the coal mines here. It is just part of who we are. It's heartwarming to all of us. And to have the marker and, like you said, stretching across the highway, kind of telling the story of Kentucky, and to be a part of that story, my parents are just so proud. I know they are.
She says seeing the community continue to be honored in this way means a lot.
And even for me, who grew up with these stories and knowing this place, I'm just still sitting here amazed at all the things that have been collected, and it's a perfect segue into going on up to Butcher Holler and seeing the old home place and the company store.
This marker is just one part of a longer story being told. In Johnson County, RJ Johnson, WYMT Mountain News.
McKinsey says they will continue supporting efforts into preserving parts of history within the county. Thank you for joining us. The time is now 6:40. Still to come on Mountain News this morning. The Labor Day holiday weekend starts the last leg of the journey for the election year as the candidates prepare for the last 60 days.